Hello everybody, welcome back to our modelled writing videos. So in these videos we are going to look at we have been looking at task 2s, and today we're going to carry on with the task 2 part of the IELTS exam. So we've got 2 essays that we are going to look at today. We're going to plan them together and then we will do the write-up, and I'll show you how I would approach these questions. Along the way, I'll give tips and advice on how to go about answering these types of essays. So if you are struggling, maybe you're struggling with task 2, maybe you were just wanting more practice, maybe you've booked your IELTS exam, maybe it's coming up soon. This is really good practice for you, so I hope you find today helpful. Okay, well, let's get started on the first topic, which is going to look at the issue of obesity and being overweight. The question: in many countries, the number of people who are overweight is increasing. What do you think are the causes of this trend? What can be done to solve this problem? Okay, so we've got a cause and solution type of essay, but we've got 2 questions here. So I think to keep it simple, I'm going to tackle these 2 questions in this question in 1 paragraph, for example, and then the second question in the second paragraph. And we're going to think about our plan. So plans are really important to help us stay on track here, which is part of the criteria. How relevant is your answer? Is it actually answering the question? That's part of the marking. Okay, so maybe solutions. Let's do a causes paragraph and a solutions paragraph. So what is causing this phenomenon? Well, maybe the spread of a Western diet, perhaps, which is filled with saturated fat. It leads to America. The highest cause in a lot of countries like America is the highest cause of death is heart disease, and that can be directly linked to sort of diet habits. So the Western diet, the prevalence, this is now spreading to other countries, such as countries in Asia. And these problems are coming along with that diet. So overweight, the issue of being overweight, and then all of the effects that has. I would say the combination of that and particularly after the pandemic, the more sedentary lifestyle. So the combination of the 2. And also people are working more, so they are wanting more convenience foods. There's a cost of living and a crisis, and a lot of unhealthy foods are not only convenient, but sometimes they're cheaper as well. I know that Iceland, a supermarket in the UK, has pretty cheap freezable food, so which isn't always the best for us, but it's quick and it's cheap, so families might be attracted to that. Okay, solutions. So I think education, we can talk about maybe government initiatives. They can spread awareness of the importance of healthy diets. And I think the government can also do their part in reducing the cost of certain foods and activities. So, for example, gyms, there could be a cap on gym prices, because I know some gyms are extortionate. And healthy foods like fruit, of course, if they are imported from the other side of the world, then you're expected to pay. But for, homegrown foods and fruits and vegetables, there should be a realistic price on those, and they should be affordable. Okay, so there are, oh, we spelled that right. There are many causes and a few and various solutions. So we'll just state the causes and solutions in the conclusion again, but yes, okay. So this is our plan, and now we can put it together in our write-up. So the first thing we need to do, like with any task 2 and task 1 actually, is to paraphrase this sentence here. In many countries, the number of people who are overweight is increasing. We can say in various nations, the percentage of individuals who are above a healthy weight is on the rise. In various nations, the percentage of individuals who are above a healthy weight is on the rise. Okay, that's good. Now let's outline what we're going to do in the essay. This essay will examine some reasons for this, and it will also outline some possible solutions to help combat this phenomenon. This essay will examine some reasons for this, and it will also outline some possible solutions to help combat this phenomenon. Okay, I think that's good. That is our introduction there. So now we can go into our first main body paragraph, and we're going to look at the causes. The causes. Okay. Let's start off with a nice topic sentence. There are some striking trends that assist in, so we're just giving the examiner an idea of what this paragraph is going to be about. So there are some striking trends that assist in the growing number of obese people. Okay, that encompasses overweight as well. There are some striking trends that assist in the growing number of obese people. So let's talk about the diet. The primary cause of maybe we could say increasing BMI, body mass index, is an unhealthy diet. As an unhealthy diet. Okay, let's expand this a bit more. It is known that what food we consume constitutes around, I think it's 80% of our health. body weight. Or it is known that the food we consume accounts for 80% or for around 80% of how our bodies are looking, are feeling, how our bodies are feeling. So this worrying spread of a Western diet, packed with saturated fat and salt, is going to negatively impact what one sees on the scales. So our weight. It is known that what food we consume accounts for around 80% of how our bodies are feeling and looking like. So this worrying spread of a Western diet packed with saturated fat and salt is going to negatively impact what one sees on the scales. Okay. The remaining 20% constitutes activity levels. Moreover, the remaining 20% constitutes activity levels. Since the pandemic, a sedentary lifestyle in which employees are working more from home is contributing further to poor health outcomes. This combination is this combination of factors is a recipe for disaster. Recipe for disaster in terms of in terms of weight. Okay, let's read this back and see how it's sounding. There are some striking trends that assist in the growing number of obese people. The primary cause of increasing BMI, body mass index, is an unhealthy diet. It is known that what food we consume accounts for around 80% of how our bodies are feeling and looking like. So this worrying spread of a Western diet packed with saturated fat and salt is going to negatively impact what one sees on the scales. Moreover, the remaining 20% constitutes activity levels. Since the pandemic, a sedentary lifestyle in which employees are working more from home, we can say, for example, since the pandemic, sedentary lifestyle in which employees are working more from home is popular, and it is contributing further to poor, maybe is rising in popularity or is growing in popularity, and it is contributing further to poor health outcomes. This combination of factors is a recipe for disaster in terms of weight. Okay, so the solutions, we're going to talk about education and reducing costs of certain things. Okay. Even though this situation is concerning, there are ways to tackle the problem. Nice opening sentence, sentence to show the examiner what we're going to talk about. The most effective route would be if the government was to use their leverage or their power to encourage initiatives and increase education. For instance, let's explain this a little bit more. They could include nutritional education in schools and more of an emphasis on including movement into the daily timetable, maybe. Okay, so we're starting with children. And the education system. Let's now, maybe we can go into the cost of things. This is one side. The other way, or the other route we've used, the other approach that could work in conjunction could be capping healthy food prices and activities such as gym memberships. Okay, so let's expand this a little bit more and talk about the financial obstacle. So this financial obstacle for many people could be alleviated. Let's check the spelling of that one. Alleviated, 2 L's. If there was more regulation for such as fruit can be extortionate and gym memberships extortionate and gym and monthly gym members can pay upwards of £100, for example, sometimes even more. £100. This should be how can we finish this off? So the financial obstacle for many people could be alleviated if there was more regulation, as fruit can be extortionate and monthly gym membership members can pay upwards of £100. With more investment into these areas, more of the community can reap the benefits of a healthy and physical lifestyle. Healthy and physical lifestyle, which can, I want to say, goes against, which can help fight obesity, maybe. Let's read this back, see how it's sounding. Even though this situation is concerning, there are ways to tackle the problem. The most effective route would be if the government was to use their leverage to encourage initiatives and increase education. For instance, they could include nutritional education lessons. We don't want to repeat ourselves too much. Nutritional lessons in school and more of an emphasis on including movement into the daily timetable. This is one side. The other approach that could work in conjunction could be the other approach that works in conjunction could be capping healthy food prices and gym memberships. Let's be quite general and then we can go into specifics. So the other approach that works in conjunction could be capping costs for food and activities. Let's do that. This financial obstacle for many people could be alleviated maybe roadblock to health for many people could be alleviated if there was more regulation, as fruit can be extortionate and monthly gym memberships can pay members can pay upwards of £100. With more investment into these areas, a wider section of the community can reap the benefits of a healthy, we've used health, of a nutritional, we've used nutritional, be well balanced lifestyle which can help fight obesity. Okay, I think that's good. We just went back and tweaked it a little bit. So making sure that we've got that everything is smooth, the grammar's okay. We've got our main points there. We're not going off topic. So let's do our conclusion now. So in summary, diet is the main factor in the global rise of, or the global issue of gaining weight. Even so, there are various tools such as education that could be utilized in order utilized in order to maybe lessen this trend. In summary, diet is the main factor in the global issue of gaining weight, of individuals gaining weight, individuals gaining weight. Even so, there are, let's do a nice full stop there. Even so, comma, there are various tools such as education that could be utilized in order to lessen this trend. Okay, I think that's good. We've just gone back, made sure it all sounds okay. Let's now count the words. Okay, so this answer is quite a large answer, but this is 325 words. So we're hitting the 250 minimum there, which is the main thing. Okay, so you've seen how we've tackled this cause and solution type of essay. We've done one paragraph for the causes and one paragraph for the solutions. And then, of course, our introduction and our conclusion there. Right, so let's go on to our next topic then. And we're going to think about this idea of teachers. The question: many people believe that parents are the best teachers for their children. Do you agree or disagree with this view? Okay, so we've got an agree and we've got a disagree question. And for this essay, I like to either fully agree or fully disagree. There is a tendency to, if we're partially agreeing or partially disagreeing, there is a tendency to confuse our ideas, make them unclear. And that's what we want to avoid. So for the purposes of this type of essay, I'm going to just stick with one viewpoint. And I think for this one, I can think of more points to disagree. So we're just going to note them down in our plan here to keep us on track. Okay, so let's, and this is an opinion question, so we can talk about what we think. Okay, so the first point is that parents are not well equipped in terms of materials for school are quite expensive, to have all of the elements that are going to aid children in their studies. It's quite from the resources point of view, it's quite hard. And also the parent themselves, they might have biases, they might also have limited perspectives, so this can prove problematic for the child's education. Okay, and another element, and then of course in the paragraph we'll expand upon this. Another element will be the social elements. If the child is getting taught by their parent and then they're being, school ends and then their parent is parenting them, that child's not exposed to different people, different perspectives. How can you find outlets and, hobbies, things like this, which are all really important for a child's development, making friends. This is all harder when parents are teaching, because it's you're not thinking about the wider aspects of society. It's quite closed to you and your parents, maybe siblings as well. Making friends, outlets. Okay, so we can expand that point. So we're just going to restate in the conclusion that we disagree with this view. Okay. Okay, so I think that's good. We've got our both of our sides, both of our points there. Sorry, not sides. Both disagreeing paragraphs. So let's go to the write up now, and we can put all of our ideas together and see what we can come up with. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is, of course, paraphrase this statement here. Many people believe that parents are the best teachers for their children. It is a widely held thought that a parental figure, if we're not sure how to, a guardian maybe, that guardians are the most ideal educators for their offspring. It is a widely held thought that guardians are the most ideal educators for their offspring. Okay, quite short this one. I feel like this essay might not be as long as the last one. That's okay, as long as it's over the 250 word limit minimum. Right, let's go into what we're going to do in this essay. So do you agree or disagree with this view? For the purpose of this essay, I will disagree. I will maybe disagree is okay with this statement, and will portray the reasons as to why. For the purpose of this essay, I will disagree with this statement and will portray the reasons as to why. Okay, that sounds good. So now let's go into our first main body, and we're going to talk about the parents themselves not being the most ideal situation to provide education. So let's do a nice topic sentence. The main reason or the primary maybe we can change this to explanations. And then use reason here. So the primary reason that it is clear children, or it's okay to use children as long as we're not repeating ourselves too much, that's okay. The primary reason that it is clear children should learn at school away and not with a family member is the fact that this person might not be suitable for this responsibility. Okay, let's compare the difference between teachers. So teachers train for many years and undergo vigorous observations and undergo vigorous standards to ensure, we're checking spelling as we go along, undergo vigorous standards to ensure the highest level of education. On the other hand, parents are not subjected to the same rigmarole, the same rigmarole And on the other hand, parents are not subjected to the same rigmarole. Their training might not be so extended. Their knowledge may be limited. And without regular check-ins, it is hard to know exactly what is being taught. So there's less, of course, observations. Teachers have to endure very regularly, whereas parents don't have the same level of scrutiny. For example, without this level of scrutiny, let's think of another word for the mother or father could let biases and limited perspectives seep into their kids' curriculum. For example, without this level of scrutiny, the mother or father could let biases and limited perspectives seep into their kids' curriculum. We could talk about the equipment as well. Additionally, from a pragmatic viewpoint, it is expensive to obtain resources such as laptops and books. This could lead to the younger ones missing out on certain aspects. Of education, such as technology studies, I don't know, IT. Let's have a read back and see what we think of this one. The primary reason that it is clear children should learn at school and not with a family member is the fact that this person might not be suitable for this responsibility. Teachers train for many years and undergo vigorous standards to ensure vigorous high standards, maybe vigorous standards vigorous checks to ensure the highest level of education. On the other hand, parents are not subjected to the same rigmarole. Their training might not be so extended, their knowledge may be limited, and without regular supervision, it is hard to know exactly what is being taught. For example, without this level of scrutiny, the mother or father could let biases and limited perspectives seep into their kids' curriculum. Additionally, from a pragmatic viewpoint, It is expensive to obtain resources such as laptops and books. This could lead to the younger ones missing out on certain aspects. We haven't used that before, that's okay. Aspects of education, such as technology studies. Okay, I think that's good. Let's now go into our other viewpoint, which is the social element. So we can start off by saying not only do the children not only should the children have access to dedicated and qualified teachers, but part of a well-rounded upbringing is being exposed to peers and members of the community, and maybe different members of the community. How, we can do a nice question, how will how do you expect them to make friends when they are learning at home all day? Not only should the child have access to dedicated and qualified teachers, but part of a well-rounded, we'll do a hyphen there, upbringing is being exposed to peers and different members of the community. How do you expect them to make friends when they are learning at home all day? Let alone hear other opinions, and try new hobbies. This is all. These are all critical elements in emotional development. Okay, so that's our second point. Let's talk about what else they develop during this. So the social aspect as well. Yes, we've touched upon that. Hearing other opinions, trying new hobbies. When the lines are blurred between caregiver and teacher, that student is left confused with roles, with what the roles are, and also inevitably it leads to the shutting out of the maybe outside world. Of course, children can go to clubs, go to after-school clubs in the community. We've used community here, different members of society maybe. But they are missing out on crucial time to learn who they are without parental supervision. Let's read this back and see how we're feeling. Not only should the children have access to dedicated and qualified teachers, but part of a well-rounded upbringing is being exposed to peers and different members of society. How do you expect them to make friends when they are learning at home all day, let alone hear other opinions and try new hobbies? These are all critical elements in emotional development. I think this sentence here might be a bit not relevant to my point, actually. Let's see what we can do now. So, of course, children can go to after school clubs in the community, but they are missing out on crucial time to learn who they are without parental supervision. School provides a support group, new opportunities, such as trying a different sport and along with challenging situations, which the younger generation needs to experience to grow from them. These simply do not happen at home. Or this simply does not happen at home with when a parent is schooling. Okay, let's read this back now and see how it sounds. Not only should the children have access to dedicated and qualified teachers, but part of a well-rounded upbringing is being exposed to peers and different members of society. How do you expect them to make friends when they are learning at home all day, let alone hear other opinions and try new hobbies? These are all critical elements in emotional development. Of course, children can go to after-school clubs in the community, but they're missing out on crucial time to learn who they are without parental supervision. School provides a support group, new opportunities such as trying a different sport, along with challenging situations which the younger generation needs to experience to grow from them. This simply does not happen at home when a parent is schooling. Okay, I think that's good. Let's just wrap this all together in a conclusion now. So, in summary, it is clear to see, it is clear to witness, or it is clear that someone cannot do both, that an individual, maybe an inexperienced or an underqualified individual cannot juggle both looking after kids and looking after kids and overseeing their education. This limited viewpoint. This we can say this leads to these two limited perspectives and a lack of socializing, which can be detrimental to the younger person. In summary, it is clear that an underqualified individual cannot juggle both looking after a kid and overseeing their education. This leads to limited perspectives and a lack of socializing, which can be detrimental to the younger person. Okay, I think that's good. Let's count the words of this one. In the end, this essay was a bit of a long one, actually. So this came to 345 words. So quite a bit over the word limit there, minimum there, but that's okay. There's no limits. So you can, if you've been following along at home, you can think about your own examples, what you would do. There we go. Well, we've had two different questions, two different task twos today. So I hope that's been helpful for you. And we've talked through how I would approach these too. And I'm sure you've been following along at home and you've been thinking about how you would as well. So let us know if you've got any comments or questions. We love to hear from you. And we'll see you in the next video.